Hello, everybody. I'd like to introduce to you the work for week one, and just to be clear on what we're doing right at this time in the semester. So you'll see that for week one, okay, which is this area right here, it's quite detailed for you. I thought I'd offer you very detailed instructions to follow. So the number one thing it says is complete lesson plans 1 and 2. And lesson plan 3 was to be completed either week 1, if you want to get a head start on it, or at the very latest week 2. So concentrating on lesson plan 1, you'll see that each lesson plan has 5 things for you to complete. And the first one is just a lecture on the subject matter, and it's an audio lecture that I've done. It's as though you were sitting in my class and I gave you a 3-minute to 5-minute mini lecture on that topic. The required reading, okay, is essential for this course. There's no way to complete this online class without completing the required reading. The film for this particular lesson plan is a film that's called Baraka. It was done by Ron Frick. It's an unusual film in that there's no narration. It's just filled with beautiful imagery, a lot of it being religious imagery. And I just thought it kind of is a very inspirational film about religion. You won't be learning stuff like what Hinduism, what Buddhism is, rather seeing the beautiful image is around the world of the world religions. The film, being an hour and a half long, is not required for this class. That's too long, but part of it is. And so what I assigned you is the first 15 minutes to watch. And then if you really are enjoying it, I recommend watching the last 15 minutes, because the last 15 minutes is some magnificent imagery. The first 15 is required, the last 15 is optional. Do you need to take notes while watching the films in this class? Absolutely. Every time you watch a film, I highlighted this all over the course, take notes while watching it so you don't have to rewatch that film when it comes to coming up with exam answers on it. Now, this is a tough film because there's no narration, so how would you take notes on a film with just images? And basically for this is very simple. Watch the film for the 15 minutes and then note your 3 favorite scenes that you enjoyed. And Mount SAC requires there to be what's called closed captions for all films, but this particular one does not have it because there's no speaking in the film. Okay. Oh, and very often I offer optional things at the bottom of the page, optional reading, optional films, and all optional work could be considered extra credit if you had time to complete it and you're inspired to do so. And what you would do is on your website that you created, besides having your midterm, your final, your research, and your post, you can create a section called extra credit, and there offer a little synopsis or insights or analysis of it. Okay, and so then there's the post question. And I gave you an example of what might be a poor answer and one what might be a stronger one. I only did it for the first post for the semester. A poor one would be like, why do you think it's important to take this class? Because we have to understand God. Well, that would not work because in our definition of what religion is, a definition of religion is not a belief in God. A lot of religions do not believe in God. There's many atheistic religions. An example, Buddhism, Jainism, even one can say even Taoism. These are religions that don't have a belief in a theistic Godhead. And yet they're religions, so they are religions themselves. So what is the definition of religion? Well, we'll learn about that as you do the reading. But one thing to note is religion could be understood as an experience of something sacred, and how you define that sacred depends upon each religious tradition. It is something which connects you to something that you feel is transcendent, something not profane. But the definition that I like to work with in this class is Ninian Smart's definition that religion is an organism that has these 7 dimensions to it. And as you read the text, that will become clear. All religions have myths. All religions, which means religious stories. All religions have rituals. All religions have an experiential aspect, etc. So as you're reading the text for lesson plan 1, that should become very clear. So why is it important to study religion? Draw from the reading, but also offer your personal insights. And then bulletproof number 2, it will explain to you in the reading the different theories of how religion started. And what I'd like you to do is explain a little bit about those different theories very briefly, just within a paragraph, and then which makes the most sense to you and why. And very often students will write, well, I think that religion all started from God. Again, that's a religious explanation and very welcome in this class. That's called the theological explanation. But one thing to address is if religion comes from God, do all religions come from God or specifically just one? So that would be something to add to that theological explanation. But other explanations of religion could be a sociological explanation, a psychological explanation, a biological from an evolutionary perspective, that religion started from, from a Darwinian perspective and so forth. So there is a lot you can discuss in your bullet section 1 and bullet section 2. I just said bulletproof. I can't believe I said that. Okay, so the exam question is available to you. Again, I already brought this up in my other little mini lecture, but you'll see that there's 4 bullets or sections or paragraphs to address. Okay, and that would be for lesson plan 1. Again, I highly recommend starting the lesson plan by opening the exam question, maybe even opening the post question, understanding what you'll be writing about, and then you complete the lecture, the reading, and the film. Okay, and let's click out. Oh, at the bottom here, I tell you how many hours it should take to complete this lesson plan. These are rough estimates, but generally at the end of the semester or even at midterm time, I ask you, are these fair estimates, or are they totally, accurate, or are they totally off the wall, inaccurate? And most students, 90% tell me they're very accurate. Some students tell me it takes longer to write a post than 20 minutes, maybe 30. Some students tells me it takes 10 minutes. The reading has to do with how fast you read, but I read through and really timed it and read as like just a total medium reader through that text that I actually wrote, but I read it very carefully and slowly, and it took about 2 hours. So most students will finish in about 2 hours. Okay, and then lesson plan 2. Lesson plan 2, again, has the lecture and the notes, okay? I thought this was very interesting, the topography of religion in America, if you click on that. And you just wanted to see, for instance, in Colorado, what the religious makeup was in Colorado, what the religious makeup is in New York, okay? A lot of Catholics in New York. California, ooh, a lot of Catholics there too. Okay, let's go to Utah. What are we going to see? 58% Mormons. So that would make sense. And it's just a fun little website to click on to. Okay, and then I have to go back here. Again, there's a required lecture to listen to and some notes. So there you go. The required reading, okay, is there for you. The film to watch for this one, Susan Blackmore, a well-known scholar in religion, and she gives a talk explaining meme theory. And so memes really help explain why religions, certain ones are very popular and strong, and certain ones are much smaller in number. And I thought that was very relevant for this class. And it's just 15 minutes to watch. Your post question, okay, I tried to be a little more creative with this one. So imagine you were to create your own new religion, and what dimensions would you include on it, and how would you use meme theory to help it spread and grow. And then your exam question is there as well. Okay, and again, the 4 bullets. Okay, looking out here, going back real quick, lesson plan 3. This is now, we're starting Eastern religions. We're out of the area of religious studies. We're actually starting Eastern religions themselves. And before we jump right into Hinduism, which is again the most intense probably lesson plan for the whole semester, I wanted to introduce to you kind of what Indian philosophy was about, what a guru was about, what mysticism was about. And I made this a very simple lesson plan. Again, it's like a 2-hour lesson plan. There's notes. There's no lecture on this one. Okay. Required reading is The Enchanted Land. Okay. The Enchanted Land is a look at, very brief look, like 2 to 3 pages look at per guru or per teacher. There's 8 of them, and it gives a phenomenological perspective. Phenomenology means understanding it from the believer's perspective. So how would a believer look at an Indian teacher, okay, and a mystic? The required films, I made them very short and simple, 3 5-minute ones, okay? And I want to show you something real quick. As you notice, there's a woman there. Yes, in the book there is a female guru, which is fascinating. In India, they have Indian female gurus. Your post question is here, and I give you sometimes choices, and in this case I do. So this one is, again, explaining what is a guru and who's your favorite among all those that the 8 of them that you read about. And this one is a more experiential one, and I offer this throughout the semester, like do A or B, okay? For not every lesson plan, but very often I do. And this one is to read this article, very short, and I say article, I mean just very, very short, explaining how to meditate. It explains how to pursue mysticism and various steps that you can do. And then what I ask you for this post, if you're interested in that, to actually take 3 to 4 days this week and practice it and try to meditate. And I don't mean like meditate on a guru. There's no person you're meditating on. It's nothing that's going to be challenging if you're Christian or if you're Muslim or anything like that. It's something that all religions have a mystical branch, and so this is very generic. It can apply to any religion. And then to write up in a journalistic style a post response to it, like how it went, and kind of describe your 3 to 4 days and the progress you made, and did you enjoy it, and so forth. And then you have your exam question again, which is a very simple one, 4 bullets to cover. Okay, and that would be your lesson plans for week 1. I hope this helped you and gave you some information that you needed to understand the course setup. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.